This conference will now be recorded.
I've got 7 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead.
Oh, somebody's
and
got
get
bad feedback.
Yeah, we do. Is everybody else muted, Kevin? Or can you tell, Kelsey?
Yeah, I muted everybody, so they have to come back on.
Okay, so if you need to talk, then you'll have to unmute and then switch it back if you would when you're done. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. This is the November 19th Muscatine City Council meeting. 7 o'clock p.m. We'll call the meeting to order. Fran, oh my goodness. Cinda, will you please do the roll call?
Councilmember Malcolm.
I'm sorry, present.
Councilmember Freilich.
Present.
Councilmember Gordon.
Star 6, Peggy.
I know she's here. Councilmember Brackett.
Present.
Councilmember Brockert.
Present.
Councilmember Gendrich.
Present.
Councilmember Hopkins.
If he's here, he might be muted because he's probably calling in. He'll need to hit star 6 to unmute.
Hopkins, present.
Thank you. 7 present, 0 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, Cinda. I don't know why my Wi-Fi seems, but we do have power and water coming. So if I get disconnected, Kelsey, if you'll take over and I'll call
Sure.
right in on my phone.
Okay.
We're going to go ahead and continue on. Thank you. We're going to skip the Pledge of Allegiance while we're doing virtual and move to number 4, communications. We'll have 2 things under communications. First, we're going to have Cheryl Plank talk to us about Vision 2020. And after that, I'll open it up for the community if they have any comments they'd like to weigh in. So if anybody in the community does have anything they'd like to share, please put something in the chat box and I will ask Cheryl now. I see you right there in the middle. If you would please share with us about Vision 2020. Welcome to the council meeting.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me, and hopefully you can hear me okay. So I'm here just to update you. I met with the city council several months ago before COVID and presented on, John Becky actually did the presentation then, but I'm here to update you on what we've been doing since. So thank you for allowing me to present tonight. I do have a PowerPoint, and so you can go ahead and go to the next slide. Several community-minded individuals got together several months ago, actually a year ago, a couple years ago, out of concern for the sustainability of human services in Muscatine. And the main reason they were getting together is because so many changes were happening among nonprofits. The Olmstead Act went into effect, federal, state, and law changes were being made, the Affordable Care Act came into play, mental health regulations were a part of this, and Medicaid transitions to managed care organizations, and then funding. And I think now, if we were putting this together, we would say the pandemic comes into play with the nonprofits. So next slide. There are ongoing challenges. Public funding is becoming strained or stagnant. Demands and competition for private funds is increasing. The private sector workplace skill requirements are rapidly changing, and cost to provide required competent staff is difficult to afford for the smaller organizations. Next slide. So Crossroads, MCSA, Muscatine Welfare Association, Senior Resources came together to see a pathway forward for providers of seniors, the disabled, and displaced individuals. Next slide. The concept of Vision 2020 is simple. If we put the right organization structure in place now, focused on leverage, efficiency, and effectiveness, Vision 2020 can lead to a sustainable future. Next slide. In the beginning, brainstorming meetings were held to discuss the challenges and experiences by small nonprofit agencies. This included community leaders, local government, senior resources, MCSA, Crossroads, funders, and United Way. And a letter of intent was signed by 3 of the providers, and later NWA moved forward with the vision. Next slide. And with the current state, when coming in, they're all completely separate organizations with their separate boards. And that's what it was like when I began working here. So next slide. And as the group began moving forward, several accomplishments were made. A board was formed that consisted of 2 members from each of the agency boards of the 4 nonprofits, as well as 3 founding voting members and the directors of 3 of the nonprofits and 3 non-voting community members. They then adopted mission and vision and determined a need for leadership and formed a committee to hire a CEO, and I was hired. Next slide. So the concept of Vision 2020 is simple. Vision 2020 serves as a catalyst to bring human services together to assure mission-driven sustainability. And the mission of Vision 2020 is to provide leadership and resources to assure that human service organizations in the Muscatine area meets the needs. This is a simple concept. If we put the right organization structure in place now, focused on leverage, efficiency, and effectiveness, Vision 2020 will support a sustainable future. So I started a year ago on November 11th. So I just had my 1-year anniversary, and nobody got me flowers once again, but I'm still here. So during the first 3 months that I started, I held many meetings. I met with several people, all the Vision 2020 board members individually. I met with several community members, community leaders, and just was trying to get a feel for how everybody felt for everything. And then I went with John, we met with the County Board of Supervisors, and we came to the City Council meeting. And next slide. I then began to work on a timeline of events that would help me get to this future state, as you see on this in this structure. And I began a timeline of events that I wanted to try to accomplish to get to this future state. So next slide. So as I'm working on all this, March hit and the pandemic began, and our world as we knew it was extremely changing. With that, we forged on with some things happening faster and others a bit slower. The interim executive director of Senior Resources and Crossroads departed, and then I was named the CEO for Senior Resources, Crossroads, and MWA. And I continue my consultative work with MCSA. A deputy director was hired, Megan Francis, probably on here somewhere, and was hired to assist with the Senior Resources and the MWA services. And then Vision 2020 bylaws were updated. Discussion on partnering opportunities were increasing, and a new transitional structure was created. So, and this is the current structure that we're working under. So a little bit of change there happening. So next slide. So as relationships and trust continues to grow among the leadership and boards, the partnering among the agencies and staff continues to grow. All the service agencies now are able to provide 401k plans that they would not have been able to do if they were their own individual organizations, because those are expensive to do. But since Crossroads is a member of a large association statewide, we were able to help all the providers, all the small community providers in this partnership get a 401k plan for their staff. A letter of agreement was made between MCSA and the partners to do the maintenance work of the organization, which has been an extreme efficiency and reduced cost. One of the big projects that has happened this year is a bathroom at Senior Resources needed to be remodeled. The floor was actually not doing well at all and was concerned that the stools may fall through. It was getting pretty bad. And they were able to, between the partnership, they were able to fix that bathroom among the maintenance workers for $1,500. And we all know to fix a bathroom can be quite expensive and would have cost at least double that. One of the Senior Resources staff is now doing data entry and other assistance in the area of finance for the MCSA. MCSA and Crossroads staff are working on a project, a community integrated employment project to help MCSA housing staff, housing clients get work and work in our Crossroads production area. The director of Crossroads is now, the service director of Crossroads is now overseeing the adult daycare center at Senior Resources. And a letter of engagement was signed in September for Crossroads and Senior Resources to do a full merge. And that is expected to happen by January 1st. So as you can see, many, many things are happening. And this is the anticipated structure come January 2021. Please understand that even through these transitions and as agencies may or may not merge or how this ends up working out, Crossroads Senior Resource will maintain their identity. So even as they merge, it's similar to, as Brett Olson put during a meeting, how the YMCA, the Y is the umbrella agency, but you have Special Olympics under there, and you have the Big Brother Big Sister program. So it kind of will work that way is how we're looking at it. So the next slide. So the next step is to begin to build a structure that supports the larger Vision 2020 partnering agencies. And most significant is the search for a CFO to serve as a strategic business partner with me. So as you can imagine, smaller organizations struggle to be able to afford a CFO, but working together, that's a possibility. And the possibilities are endless. Sustainability of service delivery of needed programs and services, efficiency and optimum use of financial and human resources talent, strength in recruitment, development, and compensation of skilled leaders and employees, effective use and recruitment of strong board members possessing needed skills and passion, and improving revenue opportunities, strengthening of donor base and commitment driven by most effective use of donor funding, and bringing services together for the most effective delivery to those in need. Next slide. So with Vision 2020, working with these 4 partners by providing these services, training, care, education, the services they all provide together, together can change the lives by improving confidence, self-reliance, attitude, housing, productivity, financial stability, making overall the community a better place for everyone. Next slide. So continued funding is needed to help support the strategic initiative and implementation to get to a future state. As stated, the critical next step is to fund the recruitment and hiring of the CFO to covering costs for the first 3 years. To help us get to this future state where 4 entities are operating as one management team and 1 board of directors. Next slide. So with that, the idea is that as we're working together, we would have basically 5 buckets. Your administrative finance bucket, your sales and marketing bucket, your operations, that's for production, and then you'd have your housing director, and then you'd have services, and all working together. And oftentimes those administrative pieces are hard to get. When you're small and individual working together, that's more of a possibility. Next slide. So through the private and public partnership, the goal was to raise or is to raise $700,000 over 3 years. Each of the 4 service organizations committed to $20,000 a year for the 3 years, leaving a $460,000 gap to get from public and private agencies or businesses or people. And as of October 2020, we've secured $272,500. So the remaining balance we hope to achieve is $187,500 that's still needed. Next slide. So the prospects and opportunities to find efficiencies, provide quality services, to hire the best talent, and to ensure sustainability are immense when working with such great teams among the partnerships. And that's it. Any questions?
Thank you so much, Cheryl. Council, do you have anything you'd like to ask? As you know, right now, tonight was just an opportunity for us to get some more information about Vision 2020. And of course, as far as actually funding things, we will be talking about that in the budget sessions, but it was important for us to get a baseline here and get some more information from Cheryl. We thought that would be a better way to work through the process. But do you have anything you'd like to ask, Council? Go ahead, Kelsey, Councilman Brackett.
I actually don't have any questions. I just want to thank Cheryl for bringing this information forward. I think it was a really good update, and I'm glad to hear it this far ahead of our budget discussion. So thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
And I'd just like to weigh in. Cheryl's done a really good job about getting around the community to the various boards and commissions and talking and giving the presentation so that the entire community can really be up to speed and on board with what's going on with Vision 2020, which is, it's really helpful too when the community already is aware. Anyone else? Otherwise, I'll open it up to the public. Is there any citizens that like to weigh in anything? Any questions? All right. Well, thank you so much, Cheryl. We appreciate it, and we will continue to move on. Have a wonderful evening.
You.
You're welcome to stay or go, whichever works best for your schedule.
All right, thank you.
I'm sorry, can I just want to encourage one thing. I know that there may be some questions that will come up, and I think it's important that we get them out there. If there is a question among any of the council people about what this is about and how it's working still after Cheryl's presentation, she's available, I'm available, and there are any number of people that are working with this that are available to you for information. So don't feel like you need to remain in the dark. This is not at all something that anyone should be in the dark about. This is well, in general, we feel it's real important for the long-term success of taking care of people in our community. So appreciate your time tonight.
Yep. Thank you, John. And just a little bit more, Cheryl's office is actually at Crossroads, but the best way to reach her is through email. And you can get her, if anybody needs her email, you can get a hold of me and I'd be happy to share it with you.
And it was on the PowerPoint slide too. I think you all got that in your packets.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, perfect. So you can get it there as well. Thanks again. So is there anybody here that would like to talk to council about something that is not currently on tonight's agenda? Councilwoman Gordon, was that you that typed in? It's just said Peggy.
No,
did you type in the chat?
That is
that was someone else.
That is Mike and Peggy Klein. Can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay.
Yes.
Our address is 210 Pond Street, and we did want to talk about the fireworks. I'm going to let Mike start that.
Okay, we've
Go ahead.
got a lot of information from Senator Laughlin about the do's and don'ts you can do here in Muscatine, Iowa for the fireworks. First, I would like to say that Cedar Rapids, it's only legal to fireworks there for sparklers, caps, and snakes. And the other one is Iowa City. which the ordinance limits the sale of the fireworks. This paper that he gave us has all kinds of different things that Muscatine can do to for the fireworks. I personally, I don't know about it how and other people are, but I would like to ban them from my neighborhood. I've sent pictures of what happened this year for everything that went on here, the whole time slot. I have all the police call-ins. There's 248, which is if at $250 or $250 fines would be $65,000 that they could collect if they could go get them. But they haven't the manpower to go do this, nor do I want to tell on my neighbors or anything like that. But there's all this other stuff that he sent that people, that you, the city council, and them can actually do to limit a lot of this is happening, so that the people here in Muscatine don't have to put up with this kind of stuff. It's unreal, the things that happened here last year as far as the Roman candles, the bottle rockets on top of the roofs, the car windshields, stuff like that. I'm not allowed to shoot a firearm in the city limits, but yet you can shoot a Roman candle that can start a house on fire. There's just so many different things that I don't understand how this got to this magnitude of this year anyway, for anything. So
Yeah, in our neighborhood, it started around June 1st and went to about July 14th, and it was just so excessive. So we're kind of looking to see what we can do to kind of scale back on this. What do you guys?
Well, thank you.
I have a question, Mayor, if that's all right.
I just wanted to give well, go ahead first. But I really wanted to just give a little clarification for them before we get started on that. But go ahead.
Well, that's probably where my question's leading, because did I hear you say that Senator Lofgren told you that there were sales restrictions that could be put in place?
It didn't say sales restrictions. It said the city council can have ordinances as far as restricting the use of them within the city limits.
Yes.
And that is correct, Mrs. Klein. The city council can bar them from being used in the city, but we can't ban the sale of them.
Right.
And that's the problem that we've had. The problem we've had is enforcement. So we know that, like you say, right now the law is they can only do them like 3 days a year. But as you say, they started in March. There's already an ordinance saying they can't do them in March. But as you can see, they are doing them in March. And we already have a law against that. So making another law, they're not going to follow that either. And we only have so many police officers, and they can only be in so many places. And so that's our really big problem, is enforcement of the laws that we already have. And when they're allowed to be sold and we can do nothing about that, then to have them be sold but tell them that they can't use them, that's where we're running into the problem. It's like giving a kid, you know, here's all this candy, but you can't eat it. Well, they're going to sneak and eat it, which is exactly what's happening with fireworks. So yes, counties have the authority to ban fireworks from being used in the city, but we can't limit their sale. And therein lies the problem. The police worked so hard trying to stop them from doing fireworks. Every day they were doing fireworks, and they can't, and there already is a law for that. So am I making sense? Am I saying that well?
Yes, I understand it, but it doesn't solve the problem when it's right next door to your house or within your neighborhood.
No, it doesn't.
And so we want to know
the problem is making them not be sold here. When they're not sold here, it greatly diminishes the problem. But when they can buy them here every one of those days, then they just shoot them off. And as you know, the police can only do so much.
Well, why did they have?
So even if, pardon me?
Why do they have to sell them at the day that they arrive? Why can it not be limited to 2 days before they actually 4th of July? I mean,
Because the state legislature, that's a good question for Senator Lofgren. The legislature voted in a set amount of days that they can be sold in Muscatine, and we cannot do anything about that. The only thing that we can do is say they can't shoot off, and we've already done that except for 3 days a year, and they're not following it. So we continue to go out and try to get it enforced, but you know, if they're shooting them off down in your neighborhood, in my neighborhood, we only have so many officers on duty at a time. And that's what the big problem is. We've done everything we can by limiting them down to at least even 3 days. But like you say, they do it for weeks and weeks. But the state legislature voted when they can start selling them. And if I'm correct, is the chief on here tonight? I believe it's June 1.
Mike Hartman here. I'm the fire marshal. The mayor is right on with that. The state law says that we have to allow the sales in Muscatine, and they set the dates, and everything goes back to Senator Lofgren and the rest of the state legislature, who passed that law and have updated it. As far as use in the city, again, the mayor is right on with that. The cities can limit the use, and some places allow it the entire June 1st through July 8th. Other places have a lot shorter time period, and there are quite a few places, quite a few cities in Iowa who have banned it altogether. The last time I looked has been several years ago, but like Iowa City and a lot of the larger cities, Des Moines, I want to say West Des Moines, a lot of the larger cities have banned the use. You know, obviously banning the use doesn't mean that nobody's going to shoot them off, but that is something that other cities have done. Here in Muscatine, we've kind of limited it down to just a handful of days to try to balance the ability to shoot them off and those who want to shoot them off versus the challenges and the concerns it causes to other people. So yes, the mayor is right on with that.
Well, I was told by the police chief that the people that are actually lighting the fireworks off and that, if they burn your house down, if they kill your kid with this stuff, it's up to them. Now, how are they going to catch these people? I mean, literally, how are they going to catch them?
That's the big question.
Well, then why wouldn't it not be?
That is a big question.
Well, why wouldn't it be up to the city?
Well,
it is a challenge. We have had a rough catch on fire a couple years ago. We had a truck burn, and in our investigation, we can find out what the cause is. But you're correct with that. It is extremely challenging to find out the person that is actually responsible for that firework, because they don't stay on their own property. And that is one of the challenges that we have and the police have to try to enforce the city ordinance.
So if they were banned in the city limits, wouldn't that be kind of narrow it down a little bit to maybe make it not where people are using them as much, and we would be able to narrow in on that somewhat?
Why would you want to, the whole rest of the city population has to be subject to all this smoke, noise, and the possibility of being burned out of your house or something else more tragic happen? I don't understand that. It's a safety issue for one thing. You are not allowed to shoot a gun off in the city limits, but you can shoot mega bombs off that'll blow your windows out. You can
Can I inject something here?
Yeah, please do.
I think that we're going round and round here with something that, like the mayor stated, we only allow fireworks for 3 days. Outside of those 3 days, they are banned. They are already banned, and they still go off nonstop during those periods. This is an issue for the state legislators to deal with, because they have completely blocked our ability to do anything meaningful. We can't ban the sale of specific types of fireworks, so we can't ban, specific types. We can't even, I don't know that we can even ban the use of specific types and limit it down to smaller types of fireworks, but we definitely can't ban the sales of anything. So people are allowed to buy these giant fireworks And by the time they've lit it off, by the time somebody's called in and said, hey, this is going on in my neighborhood, and by the time the officers arrive, people have scattered and there's no one to issue a ticket to. That's already going on. So if we remove the remaining 3 days, that doesn't change anything in my mind. I mean, I was one of the ones that was all for getting rid of fireworks. I think they're horrible. I think that they're a detriment to our community. And I think that they're tormenting, you know, seniors, people with Alzheimer's, people with PTSD from combat injuries, and as well as pets. You know, these are not a product that are beneficial to a community in any way, shape, or form. But we do not have any enforcement measure that is going to be useful, that is going to be effective, because we already struggle with the days where they are illegal to use and people do it anyway. So this is an issue where I would invite Senator Lofgren to come and explain to us what we could do here locally to make it better for the city of Muscatine, because it's the vote that he put in place at the state legislature that restricts us from being able to make any meaningful changes on this in any way that's useful. So I would love to hear from Senator Lofgren himself, but I empathize with you because I hate the fireworks myself, and I would love to see something change. But at the city council level, I know I looked into this quite a bit and I've exhausted what I think is useful.
All right, so
And
your recommendation.
We just want you to know that we agree with you. We agree with you. I agree with you. I feel, I understand where you're coming from, your frustration that why can't the city council make these decisions? Trust me, we are very unhappy about that. But the state has tied our hands by saying they can be sold from June 1 to July 8. And when they're allowed to sell them, then they shoot them off. And we try to enforce it as best we can, but our hands are really tied, and we're on board with you. You don't have to convince us that this is a problem. We know this is a problem, but unfortunately, it's the state legislators.
So we were recommended by.
But we thank you for coming.
Wait a minute. We were recommended by Senator Lofgren that he would back this up. He said it himself that he would help do this.
So you're saying
I'd love to have him come.
Yes, so we'll contact him again. He's the one that suggested we come to city council with it. They also suggested we go to board of supervisor, gave us several names, and we've contacted and done all that. So we went in this big circle from being sent from one person to another. So having done what we were suggested to do, we will go back to Senator Lofgren with all this information and tell him that's what you guys told us to do.
Yeah, and I'd love to.
Thank you, and I know I've talked to you. Yes. Yes, please invite him to come, because the root cause here, the root problem is that it's required that we have to allow them to be sold. And that is 100% in the lap of the state legislature. And if we can stop them from being sold here, wow, that it'll be back like it was, because we all know this problem started when the state legislature passed the law saying that we have to allow their sale. We know that. And so passing the buck and saying, why don't we just make it where they can't shoot them off? What the heck good does that do if you're allowing them to keep buying them? You know,
we're just being sent in the direction that people are telling us to go. So we've been to 2 meetings. We've contacted Senator Lofgren. We've talked to you guys, Nathan Mathers, Carol Webb, Nadine Brockert. So everybody's telling us.
And the thing is, none of these people can do anything but the state legislature. The state legislature is holding the cards, and they are forcing the cities to allow them to be sold within their city. That is the root problem. And by the state legislator saying, do this, do this, do this, we're not going to get anywhere until we get back to that root problem. But we would welcome you to, if Senator Lofgren's willing to come with you to a meeting, we would love to ask him how he thinks that we can ban their use when their sale is allowed.
All right, well, we will contact him tomorrow.
Thank you, and please know, we're on board with you on this. We're just as frustrated. certainly our police, our fire, your neighbors, we're all on that same board with you.
All right, well, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else tonight that would like to talk to council about something that's not on tonight's agenda? I don't hear anything, so we're going to go ahead and move on to the consent agenda. Is there anyone, let's see. There it is. Do I have a motion tonight to approve the consent agenda, which includes items 6A and B, items 8A through G, items 12A through F, and tonight's bills totaling $1,822,093.08.
So moved, Your Honor.
There's a second?
Second. Gendrich.
We have a motion by Councilman Brackett with a second by Councilman Gendrich. All in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. We have two public hearings tonight. The first public hearing regards the block grant funds. The city was awarded CDBG, Community Development Block Grant funds, to support infectious disease response from the Iowa Economic Development Authority for $53,004 to support the community expanded food services for those in need and needs of the healthcare system in response to the COVID-19 public health crisis. This was some funding that was allowed. A public hearing is required to ensure residents are aware of how the funds will be used prior to contracting, and that all payments must be for reimbursement of approved expenses. Is there any comment?
Mayor?
Yes, go ahead, Jody.
So by this IEDA regulations, I actually have to do a presentation for this public hearing. So
Yes.
I'm going to do that. So it's a little bit different than a normal public hearing that we hold, but the requirements for the IEDA CDBG funded activities kind of mirror those of the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. So I've got a brief presentation to go over the need for the project, the proposed project, and then some additional information on needs and strategies for other low and moderate income family gaps in services, as well as then some additional IEDA requirements to actually access these funds. So when the pandemic started, causing schools to close and businesses to reduce hours or shut down, area nonprofits saw a significant increase in demand for food service. In addition, the disease mandated changes to medical system operations. Area nonprofits not only saw demand in food services skyrocket, but also had to adapt to how food was provided. As individuals and families sequestered to protect their health as recommended, food needed to be delivered, a more time-intensive and resource-intense method than the centralized pickup typically used. The way healthcare could be provided needed to change to minimize the spread. Hospitalized individuals were no longer allowed to have visitors. The number of people in facilities for any reason needed to be minimized, and the role of hospital staff had to be changed and become more of a dual role. Technology has been adopted to help with these needs, including the use of tablets to enable telehealth services, as well as bring patient support networks to their bedside because their visitors weren't allowed. And then the strain of the healthcare workers from providing that both the health services and the emotional support has taken an emotional toll on staff. The next slide. So with those identified needs, the city, partnering with NCSA, Salvation Army, United Way, and United Point Health, applied for CDBG funds to increase food assistance in the community, including supplies and volunteer expenses such as personal protective equipment and mileage, and supporting the healthcare system through the purchase of tablets for the use of hospital staff and to provide mental health first aid training to their staff. As you can see, the bulk of the funds will go towards supporting the provision of food services within the community, which predominantly benefits low and moderate income families. Next slide. So the other LMI, community development and housing needs, which is a required component that we have to address in this public hearing. One of those requirements utilizing CDBG funds is to look at the range of needs for low and moderate income individuals and families in the community. While jurisdictions that receive CDBG funding directly from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development complete a study of those needs on a regular basis, in Muscatine, we do not have that comprehensive analysis of the community. However, the housing demand study does show the need for additional units of affordable to LMI households, affordable housing to housing affordable to LMI households, and improved maintenance of existing housing, and the need to provide a broader range of housing types to support a healthy housing market. We also know from working within the community that housing is not the only need for low and moderate income families. We believe that these households would also benefit from additional capacity to meet basic needs, educational programs to support employment, skill development, and improving the ability to move about town without an automobile. For example, additional food service, mental health services, and daycare or even diapers, as well as programs that develop skills that earn a higher wage, such as welders, CNC operators, or pharmacy techs, and such things as safe routes to schools, improving the walkability near healthcare or shopping. Next slide. It's not as though we're not working on these needs. We are actually in the process of developing a housing plan that includes strategies for improving the housing market, as well as monitoring always the resources that may be available to agencies to partner with to support those identified needs and goals within the community. Some current examples of these efforts are Fueling the Future, the Food Collaborative, and AIM. The city also supports the expansion of the trail system, and as well as a sidewalk program, which is typically focused on providing safe routes to school. Next slide. That's really the end of the presentation, and I'd like to invite anybody. Oh wait, I missed a spot, sorry. IADA compliance. We have received a funding award and contract, but to actually draw down the funds, there are a number of additional requirements. In addition to the public hearing, we must also adopt 6 policies. A residential anti-displacement and relocation assistance plan. Even though we're not expending money on any physical structures and no one will be replaced, it's a mandatory policy. Use of excessive force policy, equal opportunity, fair housing, code of conduct, and procurement. These policies, not all of which are actually new, but will presented in a concise format that is preferred by the IADA for council approval at the December 3rd meeting, as well as the proposed subrecipient agreements. Once the agencies bill the cities for eligible expenses, we also must have a second public hearing prior to requesting the disbursement of funds. If at any time any member of the public should have concerns or complaints regarding this program, they can feel free to contact me using the information provided on this slide or on the city's website. And now the next slide. That is really the end of the presentation. However, if there's any comments about the proposed project or the identified needs and proposed ways to address those, I would be happy to take those, and we must consider those before submitting to IADA.
Thank you, Jody. I just think it's amazing how our community came together. All the different food sources in Muscatine, the pantries were all able to work together and navigate and collaborate very quickly. They came together and put things in order so that they could respond to everyone's needs and certainly be able to secure funds like this. I understand you're going to bring those policies forward. They're just some hoops that you have to jump through whenever you go for federal money. So I think we're probably all on board with that. And thank you for spearheading and getting this put through as quickly as you've been able to do it, Jody. Any questions for Jody?
Yes.
Go ahead, Councilwoman Brockert.
Jody, do we have any idea how much the food assistance program utilization has been increased since the pandemic began?
Yeah, substantially. in the initial part, it was way high, so it was like almost 4 times, and then it kind of slowed down, but I think it's up really significantly higher again. So hundreds of people a day versus dozens.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jody. I don't hear anything else. Do I have a motion to close this public hearing?
So moved.
So move, Gordon.
We'll take a motion from Councilman Brackett with a second by Councilwoman Gordon. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
This public hearing is closed and we will continue on with the next one. The next public hearing concerns the Convention and Visitors Bureau changes that we talked about at our last meeting. Or I'm sorry, 2 meetings. So the Convention and Visitors Bureau, and I can pull that up here on the city was awarded, or I'm sorry, I got to keep moving. This public hearing concerns the discontinuation of the Convention and Visitors Board by approval of an ordinance that strikes Title II, Chapter 13 of the Muscatine City Code. The Convention and Visitors Board will be replaced with a tourism committee established via an agreement with the Greater Muscatine Chamber of Commerce and Industry to provide tourism and marketing services to the city of Muscatine. Now is the time for the public to comment. Hearing no comments, and I see nothing in the chat box, do I have a motion to close this public hearing?
So moved. Gendrich.
We have a motion by Councilman Gendrich. Do I have a second?
Second by
Your Honor.
Gordon.
And a second by Councilwoman Gordon. All in favor say aye.
Aye. Nay.
The motion, nay? Councilman
Correct.
Hopkins, did you say nay? Was there something
I
else?
did.
Did you want to speak and I missed you?
No, that's quite all right. I'm just not in favor of this.
Okay. I understand. Thank you. This public hearing is closed and we will move on down the agenda to 11A. (11A) is the final reading for an ordinance. Midwest Property Holdings LLC is requesting that the city vacate and sell to them the portion of the undeveloped Lombard Street right-of-way that joins 1009 East 6th Street, which is owned by the company. Do I have a motion to adopt the ordinance and to direct for its application as required by law?
So moved, Your Honor.
Second, Gordon.
Second. We have a motion by Councilman Brackett with a second by Councilwoman Gordon. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Councilwoman Gordon, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Hopkins?
Aye.
Councilman Malcolm?
Aye.
Councilman Freilich?
Aye.
Councilman Gendrich?
Aye.
Councilwoman Brockert?
Aye.
And Councilman Brackett?
Aye.
This ordinance is adopted with all ayes. We'll move on down to 11B. 11B, we have a resolution executing the deed to convey the vacated right-of-way to the adjoining property owner, Midwest Property Holdings. Do I have a motion to adopt this resolution as submitted?
So moved, Your Honor.
So move.
We have a motion by Councilwoman Brockert with a second by Councilman Brackett. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Councilwoman Gordon, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Hopkins?
Aye.
Councilman Malcolm?
Aye.
Councilman Freilich?
Aye.
Councilman Gendrich?
Aye.
Councilwoman Brockert?
Aye.
Councilman Brackett?
Aye.
Councilman Brackett?
Aye.
Thank you. The resolution is adopted with all ayes, and we'll move to 11C. For 11C, we have the final reading of an ordinance. McKee Button Company has submitted a request to vacate and then deed over the portion of the unimproved Front Street, which is Mississippi Drive, the right-of-way there that directly adjoins the rear of their property at 1000 Hershey Avenue. Is there a motion to adopt this ordinance and to direct for its publication as required by law?
So moved, Your Honor. Freilich.
Can I have a second, please?
Second,
Second, Your Honor, Brackett.
Anyone?
Second, Your Honor, Brackett.
We have a motion by Councilman Freilich with a second by Councilman Brackett. Or any discussion? Hearing none. Councilwoman Gordon, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Hopkins?
Aye.
Councilman Malcolm?
Aye.
Councilman Freilich?
Aye.
Councilman Gendrich?
Aye.
Councilwoman Bacher?
Aye.
Councilman Brackett?
Aye.
The ordinance is adopted with all ayes. And we'll move to 11D. 11D, we have a resolution executing the deed to convey the vacated right-of-way to the adjoining property owner, McKee Button Company. Do I have a motion to adopt this resolution as submitted?
So moved, Hopkins.
Second by
Second.
Malcolm.
We have a motion by Councilman Hopkins with the second by Councilman Malcolm. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Councilwoman Gordon, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Hopkins?
Aye.
Councilman Malcolm?
Aye.
Councilman Freilich?
Aye.
Councilman Gendrich?
Aye.
Councilwoman Brockert?
Aye.
Councilman Brackett?
Aye.
The resolution is adopted with all ayes, and we are now on 11E. We have the first reading of an ordinance, which is what we talked about in public hearing B. The purpose of this item is to adopt an ordinance striking Title II, Chapter 13 of the Muscatine City Code, thereby discontinuing the Convention and Visitors Board. The Convention and Visitors Board will be replaced with the Tourism Committee to provide tourism and marketing services to the City of Muscatine, established via an agreement with the Greater Muscatine Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Do I have a motion to approve the first reading of this ordinance as submitted?
So moved, Brackett.
So moved.
We have a motion by Councilman Brackett with a second. Was that you, Councilwoman Gordon?
Yes.
Who seconded that? Yes,
Gordon.
with a second by Councilwoman Gordon. Do I have any discussion?
I'm curious what Dwayne's objection
Hearing
is. No, I have question. I do have comments. I'm curious
Go
what
ahead.
Councilman Hopkins' objection is, because I wasn't aware that he had objections to it, and I am interested in knowing what they are.
Well, I'm objecting to this too. Back in 2012, the CVB, which was a part-time position, was assigned to the chamber, and the city council orchestrated the removal of that from the chamber and under the control of the city. I believe that's the best way to operate, and that's the way I will vote if necessary.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you,
I was
Councilman.
curious because I wasn't aware anyone was objecting. So
Hearing no other comments, and this is only the first reading. Councilwoman Gordon, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Hopkins?
Nay.
Councilman Malcolm?
Aye.
Councilman Freilich?
Aye.
Councilman Gendrich?
Aye.
Councilwoman Brockert?
Aye.
Councilman Brackett?
aye.
The first reading is approved and the motion carries. And we will move to 11F. We have a resolution accepting completed work. The city has completed the final inspection of the Second and Mulberry Roundabout. The original contract with Higher Construction was for the amount of $2,114,738. There were 7 change orders to the contract for a total amount of $163,680.45. The total adjusted contract amount was $2,278,418.45. The actual construction cost for this project was $2,274,168.84, which is 107.7% of the original contract. The retainage on this project is $109,135.44. Do I have a motion to adopt the resolution as submitted?
So moved. Councilman Brackett.
Second, please.
Second, Brockert.
We have a motion by Councilman Brackett with a second by Councilwoman Brockert. Do I have any discussion? Hearing none. Councilwoman Gordon, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Hopkins.
Aye.
Councilman Malcolm.
Aye.
Councilman Freilich.
Aye.
Councilman Gendrich.
Aye.
Councilwoman Brockert.
Aye.
And Councilman Brackett.
Aye.
The resolution is adopted with all ayes, and we will move to 11G. We have a resolution setting a public hearing. McKee Button Company is requesting that the city of Muscatine issue a quitclaim deed for a 3,826 square foot area located between McKee Button's property at 1,000 Hershey and a city-owned parcel located at 1,030 Hershey Avenue. Ownership of the subject area of this request is unable to be determined. A public hearing is required before the city council may take any action on this request. Do I have a motion to adopt the resolution as submitted?
So moved, Your Honor.
Hopkins.
We have a motion by Councilman Hopkins, and was that a second by Councilman Freilich?
Yes. Yes.
With a second by Councilman Freilich. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Councilwoman Gordon, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Hopkins.
Aye.
Councilman Malcolm.
Aye.
Councilman Freilich.
Aye.
Councilman Gendrich.
Aye.
Councilwoman Brockert.
Aye.
And Councilman Brackett.
Aye.
The resolution is adopted with all ayes, and we'll move to 11H. We have a request for a purchase order. The Parks and Recreation Department requests approval to issue a purchase order for the repairs needed for the houseboat dock system. 3 quotes were requested to perform the needed repairs as outlined in the attached division support memo under scope of services. The lowest and only quote received was from Superior Seawalls in the amount of $59,600. Due to the specialized equipment needed to perform the required work in the harbor, 2 vendors declined to bid on the project. The total cost of this project will be covered by the city's insurance. Do I have a motion to approve this request as submitted?
So moved, Your Honor.
Second by Malcolm.
Second, please. We have a motion by Councilman Brackett with a second by Councilman Malcolm. Is there any discussion?
Could we find out
Hearing
what
none.
the
All in favor? Yes, go ahead.
could we find out what the extent of the damage or repairs are?
Rich, are you on the call?
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Yes, I am.
Good evening. Please help us if you can.
I will. Mr. Nick Gala is sitting here with me just in case that question came up. So he'll go over the scope of work if that's okay.
Yes, please.
All right, here he is.
So due to the windstorm in August, we had severe damage to the dock system itself. We previously had a stiff arm system that helped to anchor the houseboat dock into place. That broke free, and actually the end of the dock system crashed into the jetty wall on the far side. From that, we had broken stiff arms, broken pins that held the stiff arms into place. We also had a broken gangway that leads from the land to the dock system itself. We had a couple floats that were broken and a couple of the pins and brackets that hold the dock together that were broken from this. We did reach out to 3 vendors and got quotes on the repairs for this, and Superior Seawalls was the only one able to perform the work due to specialized equipment needed.
Great. Thanks for that information, Nick.
No problem.
When are they
Thank you. Does
expecting,
that answer your question?
Yes.
when are they
Thank you.
expecting repair,
Council-
Mayor? When are they expecting
Yes, go
repairs
ahead.
when are they expecting repairs to commence, and when will they be finished?
We are expecting the repairs to start as soon as the contractor is available. They're currently on another job. If that job goes well, they're hopeful to get here. We're hoping within 30 days. If not, it will be the first project on their list when the ice breaks.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The request is approved with all ayes, and we'll move to 11I. We have another purchase order. The Parks and Recreation Department requests to issue a purchase order for the Soccer West Drainage Project. Quotes were received, and the low quote for drainage materials was from Menards in the amount of $11,218.30. The total project will be $17,385. The additional cost will include miscellaneous building materials and supplies from several different vendors. The cost of the Soccer West Drainage Project will be $17,385 and can be funded from previously received insurance proceeds due to not replacing the 10-row bleachers on soccer field number 4 that was damaged in the windstorm on August 10th of 2020. Do I have a motion to approve the request as submitted?
So moved, Your
So
Honor.
moved, Gordon.
We have I couldn't tell which one came first, so we'll let ladies go first. We have a motion by Councilwoman Gordon with a second by Councilman Brackett. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? The request is approved with all ayes, and we will move to J, which is, I believe, another purchase order. This one is from Public Works, and they're requesting to approve the purchase of a 4-wheel drive truck chassis to replace an existing truck that is past due for replacement. City staff received 5 bids on November 6th of 2020. The low bid that met our specifications was from Deary Brothers in West Burlington, Iowa. The amount of the truck chassis is $29,653. Funding for this purchase is available in the roadway maintenance budget. Do I have a motion to approve the request as submitted?
So moved, Hopkins.
Thank you. Second, please. We have a motion by Councilman Hopkins with a second by Councilman Gendrich. Is there any discussion?
I just have a question, Mayor.
Go ahead, please.
Yes, I just want to make sure that, is this the 4x4 truck and the item K, that's the dump body for it, that was budgeted in the capital outlay for the road maintenance? Is that the same one?
This is Brian Steinman, Public Works Director. That is correct. This was budgeted earlier. We deferred it due to our concerns about the COVID, concerns from funding available due to COVID. So we waited until now.
Thank you, Brian.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
The request is approved with all ayes. And we will move to K, which is our final purchase order. and is also Public Works. They're requesting to approve the purchase of a stainless steel dump body that will be mounted to the new 4x4 truck chassis. Staff received 3 bids on November 5th, 2020. The low bid that met their specifications was from Henderson Products from Manchester, Iowa. The amount of the dump body is $16,102. Funding for the purchase is available in the roadway maintenance budget. Is there a motion to approve the request as submitted?
So
So
moved, Your
moved,
Honor.
Hopkins.
We'll have a motion by Councilman Hopkins with the second by Councilman Brack. If that's okay. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The request is approved with all ayes. And we will move to communications. Councilwoman Gordon, do you have anything to share tonight?
Nothing today, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilman Hopkins, do you have anything?
Nothing, ma'am.
Councilman Malcolm?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. One thing I wanted to bring up, we got the proposed schedule for the budget hearings starting in January. I want to know, I want to request that we have some sort of backup plan to be in the works, because there's no way we can hold a budget hearing during a pandemic in the lower level of City Hall. We need to look at a larger space where we can spread out and staff can be safe, and all of us. I don't know, the library, River Center, if we can get that approved and updated so we can use it and people can participate that way over Zoom. I'm not sure where we're going with that, but I think we need to plan ahead and expect that things are going to still be turbulence, and just for safety features, we need to move forward with that. That's just a request. And the other thing I'd like to wish all the council and city staff happy Thanksgiving for next week. And thank you all for making it this far through this changing times. That's it for me.
Thank you, Councilman. Carol, I'm sure you've probably already thought about that, although I hadn't. Is there a plan in the works?
You know, actually, I hadn't thought of it, so I'm really good.
I didn't either.
Brought it up, Councilmember Malcolm. So I will work with Nancy, and we will get a plan A and plan B in place, and I'll inform you of what that will look like as soon as we have that developed. So thank you for mentioning that, and we'll work on it.
Thank you. Let's see, Councilman Freilich, do you have anything tonight?
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Councilman Gendrich?
Thanks, Mayor. I just want to wish everyone in Muscatine a happy Thanksgiving. I hope everyone is, is able to get out and celebrate a wonderful American tradition with family and friends. So happy Thanksgiving to the community.
Thank you. Councilwoman Brockert?
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Councilman Brackett?
I guess I would just say that I look forward to our upcoming discussion with Senator Lofgren on his creative ways that we can address fireworks in the community and what we don't understand about the state law based on the comments that he gave to the folks that expressed their concerns tonight, which I share. So I do look forward to him joining us at a future meeting to help us out and help us understand that better.
Thank you. Cinda, where are you? You moved to the other corner. Nothing from you. Carol, did you have anything else?
I don't have anything else. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you. Well, I would just like to echo several other people who've given thoughts for happy Thanksgiving for our community. It's been a really rough year, and even though we have so many things that we can complain and feel badly about, we all have a great deal of things that we can be thankful for this year. And I would like to continue that with just saying thank you to the public for your patience as we work hard as your elected officials and city staff to try to meet all your needs through the funky way that we're doing it. You know, we've done it through virtual, and then we tried to go back, and now we're back on virtual. And there's been a couple times when people struggle to get through to us, and we apologize for that. Please know we're doing all we can to be responsive to your needs and meet you in these changing times in the season of coronavirus. And hopefully we'll get through it sooner than later. But thank you for your patience as we work through this process and trying to make it be the best that we can for our community. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Good night, all.
Good night, all.
Good night.